All right, guys. So the power-hungry Democrats, are saying screw Joe Biden's commission to study packing the Supreme Court. They just gonna go ahead and try to do it now. Okay, that's what the Democrats are trying to do. Okay, or at the very least, some of the Democrats are trying to do it because they've unveiled a plan to pack the Supreme Court with 13 justices. Okay, they want to add 4 more. Right now we currently have 9, 6 of which are supposed to be conservative. If you count John Roberts, if you throw him in there, then you have 6. Okay, but in reality it's really more like 4 or 5. Okay, that's really the reality of the situation. But apparently to the Democrats, that is not enough. Okay, it's not enough. They need absolute power. Okay, so Democrat politicians on Thursday unveiled their plans to expand the U.S. Supreme Court from the current 9 justices to 13, a proposal that has been roundly criticized as court packing to meet political needs. Quote, "We are here today because the United States Supreme Court is broken," said Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey at a press conference on the steps of the nation's highest court in Washington, D.C. Quote, "It is out of balance and needs to be fixed." Quote, "I am disappointed to say that too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. The consequence is the rights of all Americans, but especially people of color, women, and our immigrant communities are at risk." Of course, you got to keep it woke. You can't propose no proposal without talking about social justice, right? That's just how the Democrats roll. Markey, who is co-sponsoring the bill, the Judiciary Act of 2021, with Representative Gerald Nadler and Mondaire Jones and Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia, accused Republicans of stealing seats on the coveted court. Republicans have purposely warped and weaponized the highest court of the land for their own partisan gain, he said. Republicans seem to think that equal justice means justice for their purposes, their values, their causes. That is not equal justice. That is not the sacred duty of the Supreme Court. The progressive Democrats' proposal appears to have come as retaliation for Republicans denying Obama appointee Merrick Garland's confirmation to the Supreme Court during the 2016 election, paving the way for Neil Gorsuch, former President Trump's pick, to take the seat. Trump nominee Amy Coney Barrett was also confirmed to be to the Supreme Court about a week before the election. They claimed that the proximity to the presidential election meant that the seat had to be held until the people, through their votes for president, could decide who could fill it. Yet, just 4 years later, just days before the 2020 presidential election, even while Americans were casting ballots, then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and his Republican colleagues confirmed Amy Coney Barrett to the court to fill the seat held by the late, great Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So much for letting the people weigh in. Basically, the progressive Democrats have proposed to pack the court, right? They introduced this bill to pack the court, okay, because they feel like it's unfair that President Trump and Mitch McConnell fill the courts with Amy Coney Barrett after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Now, let's go ahead and take a listen at Mitch McConnell's response to this proposal.
Time and again, prominent Democrats show they're no longer content to work within the ground rules and norms of our institutions, but prefer to threaten the institutions themselves. We've seen it in presidential elections. When Democrats say our democracy is sacrosanct when they win, but illegitimate and broken if Republicans win. We've seen it with the Senate's rules. The Democrats just spent 4 years not only praising but using the legislative filibuster. But now that they hold the majority, they say it's actually been intrinsically evil all along and must be scrapped. We're seeing it right now with voting regulations, where the mere fact that sometimes Republicans win elections has Democrats wanting to rewrite all 50 states' election laws right here in Washington and turn the Federal Election Commission into a partisan body. And then there's the judiciary. In recent years, we've seen the Democratic leaders stand on the steps of the court and threaten that specific justices, quote, won't know what hit them if they didn't rule the way he wanted. We've seen a number of Democratic senators send a threatening brief suggesting the court might need to be, quote, restructured, end quote, if its rulings upset liberals. Last week, President Biden, who was marketed to the country as a moderate and an institutionalist, jumped in with both feet. He set up a pseudo-academic commission to study the merits of packing the Supreme Court, just an attempt to clothe this transparent power play in fake legitimacy. But alas, the far left cannot even wait for the fake theatrics of the fake study to play out.
All right, guys, so you hear Mitch McConnell. Okay, obviously Mitch McConnell is against this. Obviously, he thinks that this is a massive power grab. And I agree with him, right? I agree with him 100% on this. It is a power grab. Just like the Voting Rights Act will be a power grab, and making D.C. a state will be a power grab. It seems that the Democrats are more focused on how to keep power than actually how to help the American people and secure our borders, right? That's what the Democrats are about. Keeping power using the face of social justice, right? It is social justice to keep the Democrats in power. That's how they frame these issues, guys. And like I said, I mean, it kind of works, okay? It kind of works. But what it really comes down to, guys, is not what the progressives want. It's not about what the progressives want. As we've seen before in the past, what it's really about is what the establishment wants, okay? And Nancy Pelosi is a part of the establishment. She is the Speaker of the House, and everything goes through her. So let's take a listen at Nancy Pelosi and see exactly what she thinks about this proposal. Take a listen.
Jerry Nadler's bill to expand the Supreme Court by 4 seats, and would you commit to bringing that bill to the floor?
No. I support the president's commission to study such a proposal, but frankly, I'm not. Right now, we're back. Our members, our committees are working. We're building putting together the infrastructure bill and the rest. I don't know that that's a good idea or a bad idea. I think it's an idea that should be considered, and I think the president's taken the right approach to have a commission to study such a thing. It's a big step. It's not out of the question. It has been done before in the history of our country a long time ago, and the growth of our country, the size of our country, the growth of our challenges in terms of the economy, etc., might necessitate such a thing. But in answer to your question, I have no plans to bring it to the floor. No.
All right, guys, so there you have it. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Nancy Pelosi says that she will not bring this bill to the floor for a vote. She's just not going to do it, okay? But she said that she supports Joe Biden's commission to study packing the Supreme Court. Now, what do I think this means, okay? I think it means what I alluded to in my last video when Biden first announced his commission to study packing the Supreme Court. I don't think that establishment Democrats really want to do it. And most of this is really just coming from the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, right? And Mitch McConnell knows that. That's why he called it a fake commission. I mean, it really is a fake commission, right? All this stuff is fake, right? The Democrats acting like they're considering this as fake, okay? They know that. Everybody knows that. Okay, I could easily come up here and tell you guys that, oh my God, Biden wants to pack the Supreme Court, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I just feel like I would just be overplaying this, okay? Because, again, guys, I pay close attention to politics, right? I don't give a damn about what these politicians say. What I care about is what they do. And what Biden has done thus far, right, even in regards to the executive order on guns, in regards to the minimum wage, in regards to this court packing thing, it's a show, right? It's a show. Guys, one thing you gotta learn about politics, the default for the establishment is to do nothing, right? That is their default, okay? So when they do something, you have to take a good look at what they're acting like they're doing and really read between the lines in terms of if they're actually trying to do what they say they're trying to do. Now, do I know if they will eventually legitimately try to pack the court? Obviously not. They could ultimately end up folding to the pressure from the progressive wing of the party to do this. We've already seen that they've established this commission, okay? So, who knows? They may fold. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I'm wrong, to be quite honest with you. But I think as of right now, if the establishment Democrats really wanted to pack the court, they would just do it. I don't think there's anything really to study here, okay? The Supreme Court actually does try to be politically independent. They really do, right? And that is something that anybody who knows anything about Supreme Court, they understand that they're trying to be apolitical, okay? Now, what people interpret as political and what's not political, that's up to the people. But they actually really do try. So there's really no need to pack the court. There's really no need. Sometimes, even when it's swung in a direction where, it's more conservative justices, what'll happen naturally, like we've seen with John Roberts, is that the more moderate justices will tend to want to lean in the opposite direction. Okay? That's how they maintain balance. Even if they're ideologically conservative, sometimes they'll just be like, you know what, I'm going to slide a little bit more liberal to try to maintain balance. That's just what the court does, okay? And that's why I just like it the way it is. I don't think there's an issue. I don't think that the Supreme Court could ever really be imbalanced, because I think that those guys understand what the actual function of the Supreme Court is. I don't think any of those people up there are extremists, okay? I just don't think so. Now, the progressives, on the other hand, obviously want to pack the court, right? They want to pack the court because they feel like Amy Coney Barrett is evil, Clarence Thomas is evil, Brett Kavanaugh is evil. All the conservative justices are evil, right? And because there's theoretically 6 of them on the court, they got to break the rules and do a power grab in order to fix it. And all it would do, if they actually did it, is it would set off a precedent in which the Republicans would just do the exact same thing if they got in power. And that is ultimately why I think that the establishment Democrats is the ones who actually know how this shit works, right? That's why I think they don't really want to do it. What they do is that they do half measures to try to make it seem like they're doing something when they're really not, right? And that's how you kind of play to the base and you play to the extremists in the party without actually doing what they want you to do, right? And that's exactly what the establishment Democrats are doing right now. Because if Nancy Pelosi really wanted to do this, if she really wanted to do it, she would just be like, yeah, I'll bring it up for a vote. So it's not even guaranteed it will pass the House. The Democrats have a very, very slim majority. I'm sure there are Democrats in the House that are more seasoned that probably believe, packing the court's probably not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Which is what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said before she died, right? She said it's not a good idea. Biden said it wasn't a good idea back in the 80s. These people who've been around politics know, right, that packing the court is not a good idea. They understand precedent. And that's why I talk to you guys so much about precedent. Precedent dominates everything in politics, okay? And the Republicans and the Democrats both know that. And it's funny because these progressives don't realize that when they propose bills like this, they really give the Republicans ammunition to say, listen, look, there's the Democrats trying to grab power, even though it's really just the progressives. But again, it's easy ammunition for Republicans to say that the Democrats, again, are trying to do a power grab. These progressives, I'm telling you, they are the best friend of the Republican Party. They really are. They are really the best friend of the Republican Party. And that's true not only when it comes to this issue, it's true when it comes to guns. It's also true when it comes to police brutality. Them calling for these extreme measures like, oh, we need to abolish the police. Only thing that's going to do is turn off moderates. That's going to turn off moderates. Okay? That's what happens. And the Republicans understand this. And rightfully so, they're using this as ammunition to go after the Democrats, right? Even though they know that Biden and Pelosi really don't want to do it. They know that. But hey, does the average person know that? Considering that the progressives and some established Democrats in the Senate obviously do want to do it. And Kamala in the past has said that she was open to it. And she's definitely more progressive than Biden. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.